spiritual journey began when I was born. Came to the understanding that we are all in this together, in the knowing that we are all connected. And that came through my death. My death was caused by alcohol and drugs.
Being dead for 10 minutes and then returning.
It's like a lotus flower gets shoved down in the murky mud and it rises back up.
My energies are starting to flow and balance and be in harmony with everybody else's, and I'm like, this is what I came back for.
She was so enthusiastic for life after that.
They don't understand that I have this expression of God that is so intense and so needed, and I am the light that shines through me.
Nicole is an angel, mentor, teacher, guide, sage. She has the infinite wisdom and ability to touch and heal people's lives.
Nicole has brought a lot of joy to my life.
I consider her as an energy healer.
What I love is her authenticity.
I was completely healed. It was absolutely amazing.
I am so happy and I am so blessed that I have met Nicole.
The kindest, most passionate, loving person I have ever met.
She's a gift from God.
I took the gun. I was almost ready to shoot myself. She saved my life.
She saved my life.
And good morning to Remembering Connections with Cindy and Nicole. I am Cindy.
I am Nicole.
Hi, Nicole. And we have somebody so special here. Thank you, Sean. Sean, we want to always thank Sean, who is the professor here at Dixie State University, for allowing us to be on Radio St. George 100.3. We thank you for listening. Hopefully you're listening, not only hearing us, but seeing us, because we have a special guest in the studio today on Radio St. George. And we're going to be sharing that with our Remembering Connections with Cindy and Nicole Facebook, right?
Yes.
Okay, so would you like to do the honors of our wonderful guest today? Would you like to introduce him, your friend?
So Master Kuo from the Tao, has traveled all the way from Taiwan to the U.S. To share and enlighten us about what Tao is. Mm-hmm. And he also has agreed to take callers. So if
exciting.
You have questions, and he is willing to
expand
on that a little bit. And so we are very, very honored. and grateful to have him here.
Hello, Master Kuo.
Hello, good morning, everyone.
How are you? Are you liking America so far?
Well, I've been here for a while, and right now I travel everywhere.
Oh, so where all have you been?
Well, I just returned lately from San Juan, Puerto Rico.
Oh. Wow.
And last week, and now I'm here, and another 2 weeks I'm going to Mexico. And from Mexico I'm going to Taiwan, and then probably either Malaysia or Singapore, and then India.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, so,
you are a busy man.
Well, for this heavenly mission, I got to be everywhere.
Yes.
Because this vehicle is like a heavenly vehicle, deliver this heavenly message.
Yes. So I'm going to ask you, first of all, would you just scoot his microphone just a little bit closer to him, Nicole? And so I want to ask you, before we're going to, because we're so excited to have you here in St. George for a few days, and that other people who are listening and watching are going to get to be able to be in your presence too. And he's amazing, as you can already tell. Can you tell us what the Tao is for people who do not know?
Okay. First of all, the Tao is not the Taoism. For 6,000 years ago, the Chinese sage, they tried to describe the truth, but there's no better way. So come to Lao Tzu. Lao Tzu, 2,600 years ago, in his book called Tao Te Ching, this book described the Tao. So that is the really first book coming to in China. But in the first chapter, he mentioned about the Tao that can be talked about it. It's not eternal Tao. In other words, the Tao you cannot talk. It's no name. It's no languages. We know language is artificial intelligence. And human, we create the languages. It's no image and no sounds. What is this? In everywhere. So his first chapter, he said the Tao that can be talked about it. It's not the eternal Tao. A name can be named. It's not eternal name. So since we've been create these languages, we give the name. Our name is given them, for example. It's not a real name. But we think that's real.
Yeah. So somebody knows who we are, right?
Right.
Yeah. Okay.
And we don't know because that's given them. And with this, from our parents, we use up to today. And that is the Tao talking about no name, no form. Because the essence go beyond the energies. And energies, when talking about energy, talking about yin and yang, that's two universal forces. And that beyond this is the essence. And the essence in Christianity, Jesus mentioned about the spirit of the truth. And Buddha described this Buddha nature. In Chinese, we call it the Tao. And Taoism tries to describe the Tao.
Yeah.
And Confucius described this as our own conscience. So they are talking about, or Allah, we are talking about the same thing in different terminologies.
Truth.
So to get a picture about this, and within everything you can see and you can touch is the Tao. Because they transform very orderly, very scientifically from 1 to 2 to 4. When I said 2, it's yin and yang. And that's the Qi. In Chinese, we call it Qi. Actually, it's the universal energies within. The sun, the moon, they all have universal energies. And the way you describe the Tao, you're talking about the way. And Lao Tzu in his book talking about the way is called nature way. Nature way means doing without thinking. Acting without speaking one word. Without thinking. Spontaneity know how to flow the way is. For example, the water knows the way how to flow. That is very Tao. The Mother Earth knows the way how to revolve to the sun without learning. That's very Tao. It knows the spring, summer, very orderly. The nature very orderly, very scientifically, very logically, eternally balanced. Because this is the nature law. So this whole universe, we call it the Tao, the way of the nature, the way of living, the way of health, the way of everything, the way to go home. That is all the Tao. So this is related to every day inside of us, related to our inner nature. How can we understand this, the essence? You don't need to talking about it, but you should really realize this. So ancient time in China, they tried to find what's this. So they had to give up the family, go to the mountain, go to anywhere to seeking for this. And this is no form. You cannot really understand, just do this. And this, it's very subtle, very mysterious. And how can you let this working inside of us? Very orderly, whole body, the system. It's very, very complex inside. And they don't have a name. And we give the name, the lung, the liver, the stomach, the instant, the blood, so many words. You know, no words we can walk in perfectly, but with the words, it's only for the doctor terminology to explain what's this. Actually, it's no name. It's only artificial intelligence. So the Tao, from the nature, it's called the law of the nature, the way of the nature. The moon simultaneously know how to revolve to the Mother Earth too, very orderly. Each one of them knows the way perfectly. In our nature, our body, our lung knows the way. Our liver knows the way. Our stomach knows the way. Our blood system knows the way. Our cells knows the way. Each one knows, our hairs knows the way. Each one knows the way without, I cannot teach them. So each part is the Tao. Very detailed. And you really cannot see it, but you only can see what is this. It's very awesome, very mysterious, very profoundly working inside and outside. How can a black seed become pink flower? How can a black seed become the fruit? Everything's awesome. Every movement is perfect balance. The whole nature is endless harmony. Looks like each one know each other. Looks like each one complementary each other. That is the nature. That's the nature. And that's the way. And that the nature supposedly working inside of us. But if we don't know the way, we could break the system. For example, something happened, I worry. And when I worry, I upset my stomach. Something happened, I get mad. And when I get mad, I weaken my liver. Something happened, I fear. And when I have fear, my kidneys damage. So all the emotion, if we don't know the Tao to handle our emotion, it's easy to create the inner storm, which is we get sick. So the Tao is very important. How come the heaven, earth, nature, sun, the moon, they last longer. They are living in the Tao, they're longer than us. And how come we only have 80, 70, 90 years old? What's different? How can they live longer than us? How come they looks like they are eternal, but we are not? So it's very, very important for us to really find the origin, to find the truth within, and let the light direct us. That is the way of the Tao. And that is very, very important, especially how can we handle ourselves and how can we deal the relationship and to have open the inner light and gain the wisdom, be able to understand others, how to deal with, how to talk with, how to handle this, how to treat each other in a harmonious way. And Confucius understands the Tao. So he's talking about what's the family value, what's the inner self, what's our inner peace, and what's the family value, and what's the society, and what is the country, and the whole world. He's talking about the peace of the world. In his time, talking about 2,500 years ago. And that is, he's talking about this. So that chaos time is happened nowadays. We are chaos now. The family problem, the relationship problem, the physical problem, the emotional problem, and simply we don't know how to handle ourselves. Everything happen could cause a fear, to worry, to have like something create the catastrophe for ourselves, create a problem for ourselves, and we don't know how to handle it.
That's true.
So the Tao, this is the way of living, the way of the nature, the way of everything. It's very, very important. And from the Tao, the origin, that Lao Tzu in his book, chapter 42, he said, the Tao gives birth to one. That's the origin. And which unchanged, is eternally present, and always on and off like this. That is the Tao is the creator. And the creator we don't call God. In Chinese we don't call God, we call the Tao. Everything is the Tao, so God is the Tao as well.
Yes.
So the Tao gives birth, the creator birth to one. That one, this is the Wu Ji. One is the Tai Ji. That is eternally present, always right here, right now, never ever changed. And that's eternal. And this is complete. The origin is complete, and the origin is pure. And the origin is infinite. The origin is infinitesimal, very small. You don't see it. It's almost nothing. That's origin. The point is almost nothing. You cannot see it. And when it transforms the energy state, that become this, the yin and yang. Actually, yin and yang is the oneness. But we call yin and we call yang because, for example, we see the daytime, it says yang. Pretty soon we come into the nighttime, we call the yin. So yin and yang is moving and one day's gone. But still there, moving and one day's gone. But once it moves, it creates the time. Once it moves, then we have space. So the space and time, when it becomes the number, the origin is no number, no words, no name. But once become yin and yang, the two forces, universal energies, everything's moving. And everything's working very eternally balanced. It's very logically balanced. So yin and yang is eternally balanced. So you see yin, you should see yang. But if you don't know the center point, then we judge.
Yes.
You see. So then we create a problem
That's
for ourselves.
the world right now, isn't it? It's true.
So if we stay in the Tao, everything's the way it is. It's for a reason. Because nature.
And no judgment.
No judgment. Because the Tao answer without speaking one word. If you are balanced, the answer is there. When you are peace, the answer is there. But if we don't know how to stay in the center point, and we are unbalanced, we're going to judge this. So we are living in the dualism world.
Yes.
Dualistic. So that is we create a problem, and we argue with different point of view, and then we create a chaos. And that's our human problem. So it's very important to find the Tao, the essence, be able to stay within to see the way it is, but no comment, and no judgment. That's the way it is, for reason, deeply. The Tao answer without speaking the words.
Oh, that's good. That's good. We were talking a little bit off the air about trusting.
Yes.
Could you speak a little bit about that? Because that really hit home for me. Because I think that, this is awesome. I completely understand exactly what you're saying, and I want to stay there entirely my whole life.
Oh, congratulations.
Yeah, I would love that so much. I'm going to work on that. But the thing is, when we have our lives and we have children and we're going here and there and we have work and we have those pressures, it's hard, like you said, to stay in that center.
Sure.
And we were talking off the air about something in the trust. I loved that. Will you address that about trust? Because I think that can help us kind of find that center.
Because the trust, for example, every day is 24 hours. You got to trust.
Yeah.
No question.
True.
See, the fourth season, you got to trust. New moon and full moon, the nature, you always trust. You see, and that inside you got to, because the Confucius emphasized this nature law, and he emphasized, how can I trust the nature? How can the inner nature too? Everything's very orderly in our body. And the trust, the Confucius make this, the trust relate to our stomach, the center of our body, relate the liver, relate to the lung, relate to the stomach, the kidney, and heart. So that center is what we trust, because the center is unchanged.
Always.
That's always. That's our origin. So that center is our origin. So if we trust our center, everything is easy to dismiss. Everything's the way it is, you can see. Because that's the way of the nature. I cannot do anything, but this is the way it is. That is the way. So the nature acting that way. Like something happened on Mother Earth, but doesn't bother sun. Earthquake in the Mother Earth, a tsunami on Mother Earth doesn't bother the moon or Mother Earth, still working 24 hours. That's what we really deeply trust the nature. And also this relates to our inner nature, the center. So if we trust our inner center, everything is you can easily handle yourself.
So when we're trusting like that, I love that. But we still have to have schedules. Like, for instance, maybe you've decided to move to another country, and you have to say, at least I've got to find a place to stay, right? I mean, how do we? I guess that's my question. Like, how much do we just stay in silence and trust, and how much do we have to physically do, like, things that we have to do to plan certain things? Do you understand that?
You mean how can you plan your trip in the trust? Is that the way you are?
Right. What like if you're planning to go on a trip or you're planning to move?
Yes.
And I'm going to trust that there's going to be a house there when I get there. Do you do that, or do you go online and go, I'm going to find a house? Do you know what I mean? I mean, where is the trust going with that?
You trust because you always find the way.
Inspiration.
Today, you cannot find today and tomorrow. So you're gonna be there one day.
Right.
So that's where you trust. It's not the time.
Not the details.
No, not you expect which day, because you put which day, you will feel frustrated. Because I hope next week I should move, but how come I cannot find this?
Right.
That way, you really don't. That's not the right timing. So you should really, you know how to reverse that. That's not the right timing.
Mm-hmm.
You know, my inner nature, my inner Tao tell me maybe another week, or maybe that's good time for next month.
Right.
You know, so you flow the way it is.
Mm-hmm.
You not force yourself to got to be
Don't
there.
push against.
That's right.
Yeah.
You cannot against nature. You cannot against the inner nature. Everything is a perfect orderly for the divine nature, the Tao, inner nature too. So we let it flow the way it is.
So I see the house being already, so you're running across a house, you see this house come across the computer, and then you're like, wow, I've been thinking about moving there for a really long time, and that time must be now. That's how I see it.
Good.
Okay. So it's like you say, this is what I'm feeling that I want, right? Because we do get those desires, those dreams, and then we just put it out there.
Right.
And then we trust that as we're living our lives and as we're doing whatever we're doing, raising our children, going to work, whatever we're doing, that it'll go, here it is, here it is, here it is. Is that what you guys are saying?
And at the same time, when you're talking about the family, all the kids follow the parents.
Yes.
And they watch the parents.
Yes.
The way you talk, the way you act, the way emotion, your kids learn everything from us.
Yep.
So how can you balance your energy and handle everything smoothly to be able to guide or be a role model for your children? That is the Tao talking about.
Yes.
It's very important.
Do you have words on that? You just have to you just have to work beyond yourself, stay in that.
Right.
And then teach the children, because I'm guessing children come in knowing that. Right. You talked about that in the very beginning. Children know that. And if you're mirroring that, they're like, oh, yeah, I've got this down. And then their whole adult life will be different than maybe how we've led it until you know what I mean? If people who don't know the Tao, or they have not touched base with that, that inner knowing, that innate intelligence, if you finally find it, then, you can start practicing it. But for the people who maybe have found it and then have children, the children just get raised in that environment, and they have probably easier lives than some of the other adults because they live like that, correct?
This is a time in the living in the dark. Most of us have family.
Yes.
So how can we become role model? And Confucius emphasizes, because being a sun, being the moon, and being a Mother Earth is same Tao, but different position. Being a Mother Earth, you should really report to the sun. Mm-hmm. And being a husband, being a wife, is like a yin and yang. Yes. How can you balance? And a husband, what's the Tao in a husband, and what is the Tao in the mother, and what's the Tao in the son? So each one Confucius described very clearly. After he get the Tao, he interpreted this. Yes. In the only earth, like we respect the Father as heaven, we respect Mother like earth. That kind of the Confucius very detailed. It's because talking about family value.
Yes.
And how can the husband take care of wife and wife respect the husband? It's a relationship. As Confucius described very, very clearly, and very, very important in nowadays, especially. In our Western world,
yes, very much so.
Yes, and how to respect each other.
Yes, within the family unit, even how to respect one another.
Right.
Yes.
And basically, it's how can we respect ourselves first?
Yes.
I am.
Always starts with yourself, doesn't it? Yeah.
Yes. If we know this is our body, is God's image, as Christianity, the Bible said that our body is God's image. Our body is God's temple. For 100% sure that God stay inside. Mm-hmm. People don't know where is it, but you should believe that God stay within. Mm-hmm. So this is God's temple. How can I remain balanced energy? How can I respect my origin, my God within, and also respect others? Mm-hmm. Because others also the God's temple too. Each one is God's image. How can I respect each one of us? Mm-hmm. And that is the Tao talking about. So in other words, if we know how to humble ourselves, if we know how to respect others, mm-hmm. we can have less family problem,
yes.
have less personal problem, family problem, mm-hmm. society problem, and a country problem. Mm-hmm. And that is the wholeness for a whole country. Everybody should follow the way of the nature.
Yes. And practice that.
And practice.
It's like,
daily life.
Especially if you weren't raised with this and you're now understanding this, it's like every moment you stop yourself and go, whoa, I can choose a different way. I can choose to go, right?
Yes. Like a water. Mm-hmm. Water flow this way, but the stone block it.
Yeah.
But he's not hit it like this and headache.
Yeah.
See, we normally when we hit the water, what happened to us?
Yeah.
But in water, they find a way.
Yeah.
I find this
Go
way,
around it.
You see,
yeah.
and still keep moving and balancedly, and without complaining, without angry or blame someone else, mm-hmm. and easy to flow, mm-hmm. and follow the way it is, and always flow to the ocean. That is the way teaching. How can we become water? So Lao Tzu in his book talking about the water, the virtue. Mm-hmm. You know, I'm just talking about the Tao. Then next step will be talking about the De, Tao Te Jing. De is the virtue. Mm-hmm. You know, so see the Tao, but you also see the virtue at the same time. You know, but they don't talk.
Right.
So the sun is
it's a feeling. It's like the whole, it's encompassing.
Right. The sun is the Tao, but the virtue is the sunlight.
Oh, okay, yes.
And how can the sun burn himself mm-hmm. and benefit to all creatures?
Yes.
The Mother Earth. Every day we step on the Mother Earth's face
mm-hmm.
and take it.
Yeah.
Say, no complaining and heavy.
Yeah.
And can you imagine how fast 1,000 kilometers every hour?
Yeah.
And you don't feel it.
Not at all.
Moving and stillness at the same time. That's truly meditation. Why? Because Mother Earth is living in the Tao. Living in the Tao is living perfect balance. It's nothing there. Mm-hmm. Everything happen and going at the same time. Happen and going at the same time. No memory in our mind, because everything we put in our mind become garbage can. We keep so many things as garbage can. How can we maintain good health? You see?
It's so true. It's so true. And I think that the older we live on this earth, the bigger the garbage can, right?
So that's why we're getting weaker and weaker.
Yes, that makes sense.
And we don't know.
And our health not well. And our mental health not well because we're worried all the time.
Right.
Yeah.
So if we don't know the way, we have to go to Nicole to help.
Yeah, right. Right. We need a garbage man to take it out, right? So I was just thinking about that, right? So it's kind of, well, if you can let it go, then it's like it's gone. Is it possible for somebody to have lived their life maybe with anger or holding on to something that happened to them when they were young to now find their center and to just let all of that go in a second?
Right.
Is that possible?
And in order to let it go, let it out,
yes,
we got to learn from the happy Buddha, because he's always laughing.
Mm-hmm.
Why? There's nothing there. He's always laughing because it's perfect in the moment.
Yeah, always in the moment.
Always in the moment.
Now.
In the present moment is right now,
mm-hmm.
a perfect moment and perfect balance and perfect harmony, and tolerate everything. Big topic. Not necessarily eat a lot, but tolerate.
Tolerate it.
Tolerate, like an ocean. Mm-hmm. Everything come in and become nothing. So that way you can easily let go.
Yeah.
See, we always keep somebody criticize, point me. We always keep that negative energy, thought in our mind.
Or if someone has done something to you and maybe you've had a hard time forgiving that person, and so every day, even though that person's not even in your life anymore, there it is inside you. Do you know what I mean?
And you bring the image to punish you.
Yes.
Every time you think in this and you get mad.
Yes.
You see how many times you want to punish yourself. Once you realize that's the truth and that's illusion, and you easy to let go. So the more you understand the Tao,
illusion.
All illusion. The more you understand the Tao, the much lighter you're gonna have, because it's easy to let go, easy to detach this, easy to tolerate, to forgive others. So that is the way we remain good health, make no blockage. You see, we easy to have blockage through our emotion state. So easy to release that, the power to release that energy moving and remain good health. And most important is
happy.
Yes, right.
Joy.
That is heavenly medicine.
Now, speaking of heavenly medicine, Nicole, you are going to be hosting Master Kuo with talking about the Tao all week long. So we need to tell everybody how to meet him. I mean, obviously, do you not want to meet him? Is he adorable? You're adorable. So let's talk a little bit about that, because there's quite a few days that you're going to be here, Master Kuo, and so we want to make sure that everybody knows when they can go see him and how they can go see him, and that there's certain extra special things you're doing with him as well.
Yeah, the most interesting thing about being side by side with this amazing being is that I found so much of my death, and when I came back and was trying to explain what I do, there's no words for it.
Right.
So as I was cleared through my death and I come back, I started packing on stuff. Not of other emotions or anything like that, but what words do I use to explain why you want to come see me? Does that make sense?
Yeah, it totally makes sense.
Until last year, I got the opportunity to spend time at the temple, and I came to understanding that it is okay not to have words. So when my clients are like, I really want people to come see you, but there's no words. I'm like, that's okay. There's
it's
no
better
words.
for me. It's better because you're not running on somebody else's experience.
Yeah,
it's always you, right?
Yes. And so what better way to find you than to just clear everything and come and show up how you are. So as I'm sharing my Tao experience and my opportunity to go to Taiwan, I'm like, you know what? I feel like that he should come here and you can experience it yourself, because most people aren't going to find time to go.
Yes.
Not that they can't go.
Yeah.
They're not going
to
they'll
find a reason not to, right.
Yeah. And so that's okay. So when the opportunity came to us, I was like, what better way than just to an introduction to the Tao is amazing, and that will be Thursday, Friday, Saturday. It actually can be every day. It's really open. And the confusing thing about our schedule is people are like, oh, it's open house.
Right.
It is, because you're going to come in, you're going to meet him, and you're all going to have different questions. So each time, each question is going to open up another question for whoever is there at that time. What I'm doing is trusting that the
You're living in the Tao right now, aren't you? Yes. I'm catching on.
Congratulations.
I am trusting that open house will lead people to be there at the exact time that they need to be there. So when one person asks a question, the other person's going to be like, wow, I needed to know that. And it's going to be a ripple effect. So he does do the window opening, which means that
opening the heavenly gates. I love that. I so am going to show up to get my heavenly gates opened up. I love that so much. So awesome.
And that we are going to do on Saturday, but also it will be available through the week.
Okay.
Because we understand that other people maybe are going to come. I think it's open till the 7th, so that's the Monday,
yeah,
right?
I was just going to tell you when it is. So it's today's the 2nd, so it's the 3rd through the 7th, which is Monday. Most of the days it's saying 10 a.m. until 6 p.m. or till 5 p.m. And then they have instead of, it's not called an initiation, it's actually called opening the heavenly gates, and that's what Nicole was just talking about. And we may talk to Master Kuo about that in a moment. And I did want to address that if you are bowing, there's bowing at different times during each day, which is respectful, and that there is a dress requirement for that, correct?
Yes. So it is black pants and a white shirt,
or a black skirt if you want to.
And we do remove our shoes at the door, just things like that for the respect of the space. And so,
when is the bowing? You said, is it at a separate time?
I just went off of what we did in Taiwan, and it was 7, noon, and 5. Correct?
Correct.
Okay.
Bowing, when you realize the origin, the truth, you begin bowing is begin to pay respect to yourself, to know better yourself, to humble kneel down is to humble yourself.
Yes.
Because you humble yourself, you can easy to surrender. Mm-hmm. You see, and also you pay respect because we often repeat like a Groundhog Day.
It's so true.
See,
you know us. You know us well.
Because because the system, that's the way we are.
Yes.
And we all repeat the same thing again and again. So bowing is a good time to cleanse what I've been doing this morning up to noontime. Maybe I wrong thinking or thought or
angry
emotion, something. Mm-hmm. So we want to cleanse.
Yes.
And the most important is pay respect to yourself, because you know how to respect yourself. As I said, you know how to respect others.
Yes.
So you can see how can we really live in the courteous way to respect. Mm-hmm. In America, we do whatever we want to do individually, more equally. That's the way I am. I don't care what you think or something like that.
It's true. You've been to America before.
Well, so that is bowing, because that is, after we open the heavenly gate, we begin to know how to pay respect yourself. Besides,
not just others. I mean, first us. And then is that part gratitude too?
Right.
Yes.
Because it's number one exercise practice, Qi Gong.
Yeah.
Because you are Qi. You see, when you bow, you return to fetus position before you're born, like in the mother's womb.
Yes.
You just like a return to your origin. Bowing is a return to your origin. And that origin.
Even on a physical level, I get that now. Okay.
And that origin is to remind us how can we remain the innocent child within innocent state.
Nice.
So innocent state, so we don't know how to judge people. Innocent state, we always joy. Innocent state, we just trust good.
Yes.
So that is the way we want to review and review and review. And very good for our qi, very good for our health.
Yes.
It's the number one qi gong I want to mention about this.
That's amazing. I want to tell everybody again, like the dates and where. It is actually going to be in Santa Clara, and the address is 3800 North Paradise Village Drive. This is number 117. So 3800 North Paradise Drive, Village or Drive 117 in Santa Clara. Do you have it on your website, Nicole?
I do, but we have it on Remembering Connection with Cindy and Nicole on Facebook.
On our Facebook page.
We can also right now have it put in the comments.
Okay. We'll have that put in the comments too, the where it is in Santa Clara. And again, it is starting tomorrow through Monday. Did you want to mention what you're doing on Saturday? I know you were talking a little bit about something extra special on Saturday as well.
So as I was trusting that this schedule would go amazing and we'd be in awe over it, I wanted to take Master Kuo to Snow Canyon in the morning, because it is one of the most grounding but yet uplifting and enlightening places. And while he's here, mind you, it is his first time in Utah. And so we'll have a lot of follow-up with him in Utah. However, we're going to bow and then do our bowing in our space. Then we're going to meet early. So it says it, I think 10 at that. But we want to be in Snow Canyon earlier. So what is going to happen is you're going to meet at the house.
The house that we just gave to, and look at the Facebook, Remembering Connections with Cindy and Nicole, but it's 3800 North Paradise Village Drive, number 117. Meet at about 8:39.
Yes.
Is that correct?
Around 9 o'clock after he eats breakfast.
Okay.
And then we're going just to travel. And it's easier to carpool because to get in there where we want to go is, it's $6 to get in.
Yes.
And then there's limited parking.
Yes.
And so if you want to carpool, you can meet us there if you choose. But, and it's at the sandy area right in the middle. And
oh, I love that sandy area. Oh, you're going to love it.
Yeah.
So wonderful.
And we'll have people on the road or whatever guiding you. So there'll be directions to go there, but I felt like that I was guided that it would be a good experience to open up a grounding meditation and kind of bring in energies. So that is what we're going to do on Saturday.
That's great. Now, so would that be open to anyone, even the ones that didn't get to already open the heavenly gates? Would that be for everyone?
Yes.
Okay. You're saying yes. Yes, it is.
Because it's very happy to see everyone.
Yes, always, right?
Because we consider all human beings are brothers and sisters.
Yes.
Because everyone is the Tao.
Yes.
But only because we don't recognize each other.
Yeah.
And through this open the heavenly gate, we realize, hey, we are from the hometown. And now segregated is born here, born there, born there. And a good time reunion as the one family. That is the time. Otherwise,
and we're all one.
Right, we are all one. That's the point.
That's great.
So every day will be available, even Sunday and Monday.
Okay.
So to open the heavenly
depending
gates,
on whatever you're doing, if you have any obligations, which we don't want to talk about, right? But sometimes we do.
That's why we open the 10 to 6, and so people that are driving in, we do have people flying in from other places and traveling. They may only be able to come for one day, and he shared with us that Master Kuo is willing and excited to open the heavenly gate for you, even if you can't make it on this Saturday.
Oh, okay. All right.
Does that make sense?
Yes, it does.
Just please let Nicole know who want to come earlier, so she
get a hold of Nicole.
Right.
Okay. So I wanted to ask you, if I may, how did you become a master? That's a big story.
That's a good question.
Follow the Tao on this one.
Well,
I'm just curious.
Well,
you were probably born there, huh? You were born that way.
Tell you the true story about this, but I just bring a little bit about this. My sister take my birthday to see the fortune teller, earlier time, and they said, I have heavenly mandate coming to this life from 1 star. 1 star. So that is the reason.
You came here for this.
Right.
Yeah.
So then it's very easy to hook, to connect everything. It's not deja vu, but it's the way you can easily connect by looking. Then I can understand something like essence.
Yes.
So this is a very important.
And you could do that the minute you got here. You remember that when you were little, a little boy.
Yes. So we born that way, and besides, I was born as a farmer's son. My father was a farmer, and I lived in the countryside, and was poor family. I choose the born with the poor family, so that way it helped me to grow. How to say cultivation? You cannot have this, you cannot have that. You have to take everything, no complain. You cannot compare your classmates. So that is the way it accompanied me growing up. So that's my foundation.
Yes.
I grown up.
It's a beautiful foundation.
Thank you.
Yes.
And then now, when I recall everything from my past, everything, I really appreciate. I choose to be born in a farm, being a farmer, and being a poor family, and gain a lot of wisdom. See, that's a gift. That's gift from Mother Nature. So everything's wonderful and beautiful. And I was choose to be, because I want to devote myself to service. So then I was choose to be as heavenly Buddhas. They can channel on me to open the heavenly gate. This is not what I can do. This is heaven related to heavenly mandate. And then they choose you to open. And whoever.
Like you have the key.
Right? Heavenly key.
Heavenly key.
Remember,
key,
you know the E.T.?
The key. Yes. I love that one. I'll be right here.
See?
That's it.
Congratulations.
Yes.
See?
Yes.
And see, heaven. Now, this is deep. I will be right here. It's very, very deep, profundity.
Yes.
Majority 99.9% when I ask everyone, say, what's the last scene? When you see the movie E.T., what's the last scene? He say, go home. I said, no.
No.
Something. I said, no.
Can I tell you, when I saw that, I was young, and I cried so hard.
See?
I embarrassed my family that was with me because I cried because it was it was so deep to me.
See?
And I was like 9 or 10.
Wow.
And I just couldn't believe, I'm like, that is, like, there's nothing that, just talking about it, I get chills. And it was so big. So I thank you for, telling me that was all right, because I was like, I'm so sorry. Like, even the little kids behind me, that girl won't stop crying. I could not stop crying because it was so profound to me.
Profound. My goodness.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes, I love
congratulations.
that. I love that. Thank you for mentioning that, because I love that so much.
And this movie mentioned about go home.
Yes.
We are homesick.
Yes.
We all homesick because we already forgot what the home looks like. And we just been living on the Mother Earth. We forgot our hometown. So this movie,
because of the physical body, right?
Right. Because then, so each time coming to this life, we are all suffering. It's all physically, emotionally, psychologically, all suffering. So then this movie want everybody to go home. And he doesn't belong to the Mother Earth. He want to go home. And where is the home? So his finger has light. And that is a heavenly key.
Yeah.
And when it could become open, that center, and he said one sentence, I will be right here. Here,
the best.
See, here is there. So how there
no
is
space.
Here, not good. That's the Tao.
Space.
So Tao transcends the space and time.
Yes.
It's no time.
Always now.
And no space. You see, it's eternally present. And that's the way we want to find the divine source within and reborn again. As Jesus said, you must be born again. So you see the kingdom of God within you. You see.
And respect yourself.
So right. And others.
Yes.
Always.
Yes.
You know, and begin to practice the way. The way.
Yeah.
The way of deal with yourself with others in a harmonious way.
Every single moment, every single day, no matter what's happening.
Right.
Like the water.
Right.
I'm learning, right?
Hey, congratulations. You are very wise.
Oh, I'm so excited. No, that brings me so much joy, because it really, if anybody that right now that's listening, that's watching, if you're really feeling the words, because you can feel your words, you're amazing.
Thank you.
You can feel it. Like, how can you not recognize it inside you? The words just, it's right. It's truth, right?
Yes.
It's all of us. Like you said, the one.
Yes.
Right? All of us one. So if someone would like to meet you personally, they're going to get their chance. Go ahead, Nicole, if you want to mention this. I can't believe the time.
Then Nicole knows the time. Say, this person personally, he want to come 11, but I don't want the other one come at the same time.
Yes.
And he waiting outside for 1 hour. So she can,
appointments is what you're saying.
She can organize this person's 10:30 or something like that.
Right.
So more organized, because I don't want people disappointed coming and say, how come I waiting so long?
You want to take your moment with them.
Right.
Yes.
Yes.
That's respectful.
Right.
Right? We all deserve our moment.
Right.
I appreciate that.
Yes.
So we do have, and this, I'm trusting that this is flowing out of my mouth unplanned, but here we go.
Sorry to put you on the spot.
I'm, in my head, I'm designing that we're going to, since there is a pool and there's a play area and there's 5 bedrooms, we're going to each hour let people come in and learn. This will make it and sometimes it might go over. Please remain flexible, because
breathe.
Yes, and you're more than welcome to call me. Please call the phone number 435-319-0951. And again, that's 435-319-0951. And McKenna, my assistant, will go ahead and start scheduling those.
Okay. Is that on our Facebook page as well? Can we put that on our Facebook page as well?
We can.
That particular number, so that we can get that. We have like 10 minutes left, you guys. Is there anything else that we didn't cover that you would like to cover while people are watching and listening? Because it's so amazing.
Thank you.
Such an honor.
Because as Lao Tzu said in the book, chapter 25, he said, all things know how to return to the origin.
Oh.
For example,
okay,
Mother Earth know how to return to the origin. That's why we have 24 hours always. The moon, every 60 years, know how to return to the origin. The sun, the tree, the fruit, the seed, the water, everything. But there's one animal. We are part of animal. But we don't know human. We don't know because we don't know who we really are. And we don't know where we're coming from. So we don't know how to return to the origin.
We think we were just dropped here.
See,
that's what it feels like sometimes.
Problem.
Yeah.
And we are lost.
Yeah.
Because we are crying coming. Yeah. We are lost, disconnect with our inner nature. And we depend on our conditioning senses to try to understand what's going on, what's this, what's that. And sort boundaries, sort limit. We really cannot break through to understand the wholeness. So we always have the problem for this. So this is very, very important to find the Tao, find the origin. And before we finish our journey, we really hope we can open to embrace the universe within us.
And then we're always home.
You are always home. That is the key.
Oh,
so
it's
always
a good key.
Home. Yes.
It's a really good key, Master Kuo. Right. No, really, it is, because that would settle anything you had going on.
And this is a heavenly mission.
Yes.
This is a heavenly mission. Everybody should.
This is what you chose to come here to do.
Right.
To assist the rest of us to figure this out.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Well, you're most welcome. Thank you.
Wow, you can keep talking. I mean, I'm just saying thank you, because wow, that's a big mission. That's a lot of responsibility. Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
You have shown up.
Thank you.
Do you want to say hi?
Hi. Yeah, say hi, Kira. This is Kira.
Kira.
We have just a few minutes left, and I just again want to remind you that you can find all the information on our Facebook page at Remembering Connections with Cindy and Nicole on our Facebook. If you're watching, you might be watching on Radio St. George Facebook. We want to thank again Sean Denovan, who is the professor here at the college, for allowing us to be on Radio St. George 100.3, and Master Kuo again, a Tao master all the way from Taiwan, which is a long ways away, and he's going to be here for a few days. And Nicole, on our Facebook, on your website, on both, we can get some information. Let me give you Nicole's personal website at energyhealingbydesign.com, and you can check that out. And again, if we can just mention while we're wrapping this up, there's still a couple of minutes left, what Open the Heavenly Gates is, if someone's just tuning in. Master Kuo, could you just mention again what opening the heavenly gates is, why that's so important for us?
Because open the heavenly gate, you find your origin.
Yeah.
And you begin, as Jesus, you must be born again. You reborn again, it let your inner eye, the God's eye, only one eye, the center eye, to project everything in a balanced way. That's deep. Because we often use two eyes to see up and down.
And our senses.
Right. And the sense, and then, and absorb different energy, input our conditioning mind.
Yes.
And that disturb our energies.
Or we believe other people about us.
Right.
Right?
With the center, open this, we let the center eye, the God's eye, to flow, to see everything clearly, and the flow the way it is. And you remain the balanced energy. And when you finish your journey, you know how to, you always return to the origin. You're always home. So, in other words, you're always home. So we bring heaven on the earth.
Ooh, that's good. That's really good. Isn't that great?
Yes.
So if you want to learn how to bring heaven on the earth for yourself, if you want to learn more, I mean, thank you so much because you've given us so much wonderful information. This is one of these things where we're going to be on Facebook, not only on Radio St. George, but on Remembering Connections with Cindy and Nicole. You can watch this over and over because I think it's some things that you really, you might get a little bit, and then if you watch it another day, you'll get some more part of it, right? It's one of those kind of things when it's how energy works, like you open something else to go, okay, well, I'm a little open to that. Now let me see what else he said, right? And that's kind of how it is probably when you open the heavenly gates for us. Like you said, it's a practice, and it's a respect for ourselves and for others, and just as the earth and the moon, it just comes naturally once you really remember.
Right.
It's like remember.
Right.
You want to add anything to that, Nicole?
I am in heaven here, so I'm good. I'm good. Just listening.
I just want to say again, I'm going to tell you how to get all the information to see Master Kuo while he's here in St. George. But I just want to say, sitting with him, there's nothing scary about it. He is non-judgmental. There is nothing. Everybody is welcome. It doesn't matter if you're feeling like your own guilt or shame, or you will not feel that in his presence. You do not feel that. That is not who he is about. He is about heaven. What else is there to say? Right? That's it. So if you want more information, Remembering Connections with Cindy and Nicole, Facebook, it's going to be all on there. Again, the address where Master Kuo is going to be is 3800 North Paradise Village Drive, number 117 in Santa Clara. Would you like to give your phone number again, Nicole, where they can make appointments if they can't come at the certain time that the schedule's up?
It is 435-319-0951.
Okay, and you can also go to Nicole's website at energyhealingbydesign.com, and the information will be on there too, and I'm guessing that the phone number will be there.
Yes.
What an honor. Thank you so very much. Thank you, Kira.
Thank you very much for having me.
Are we all excited now? Like, are we really going to have to go on with our lives now? I don't really want to. Anyway, thank you so much. We will be back with Remembering Connections at 11 o'clock, or excuse me, at 11 o'clock next Wednesday. Thank you. Safe travels, sir. I will see you. I want my heavenly gates open now. I'm all for that.
Thank you. God bless you. God bless all. Thank you.
Thank you so very much. Thank you so very much. You're listening to Radio St. George 100.3 in St. George. We want to thank again Sean Donovan and Dixie College for allowing us to be here.